Welcome back, and it's time for another mailbag episode. But first, happy Cinco de Mayo. And now that that's out of the way, we're going to start with the first package. I'm going to open this up in the order that I received them in. I've actually started getting these a couple days ago, and as of right now, this very second, there are still 3 outstanding packages that I'm waiting to come in. And I will wait till I get all these in before I actually make this into a complete video. But first thing we have is some rolls of solder. And if you may remember, quite a few episodes ago, I said I was running low. In fact, this is the only little piece I have left. And that's part of the reason why I haven't really been building anything. And the whole reason why I purchased all these items is because I've actually had some extra cash in my hands from some projects I've done for some customers lately. And well, now we can start building things again. This is from American Solder. I don't know if it's American made, but it is 6040 lead solder, and it's actually 0.8 millimeter, which is very close to this original size that I had. And I can just show real briefly here. The stuff I was using was from Radio Shack. You can see it here. And this is pretty similar to that, or at least I hope so. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to rip this open right now. Yeah, we can see that is pretty close, if not exactly the same stuff. I do like using the thinner stuff better because I find that it just works better for me for the different things I build. Although in some situations, like the 8x8x8 LED cube that I built, I found that I needed quite a bit more to get things done because there was so much soldering to do. If I had thicker stuff, I might not have gone through it as quickly. But nevertheless, we got these 3 rolls here, and we'll look at the listing in just a moment. But one thing I was curious about is how much you actually get on here. And I was hoping that, well, see, that's what I was hoping it wasn't. I was hoping that the solder was actually all the way into this inner core here and not just taken up by space. You can see the Radio Shack one. When I bought this, it was filled up all the way. And this was supposed to be 8 ounces worth. And I don't see, it says it's 100 grams. Yeah, so that's definitely less than what this was, because this was 226.7 grams. But nevertheless, it should still fit on my spindle here, which is what I was kind of hoping for more than anything. Pricing this wasn't bad. It was $12.99, including the shipping for all 3 rolls. And well, we're going to see very soon how that works for us. So we'll just move that off to the side. I don't want to lose that piece there. This stuff I can all get rid of. These were the 3 rolls of the 6040 tin lead mix of rosin core solder. I got that at a price of $12.99 from Quality Solder, and that included free shipping as well. Next up, we have these 3 guys, which all came in one day. And I'm going to open this one first because I think I know what it is, and if it's what I think it is, it's going to be very handy for us right now. So we'll go ahead and cut it open. And this is just some packing material. And this is another condenser microphone. Now, you may remember in another video I mentioned that my cat actually ate this on me, and he actually chewed the wire up, and I was unable to repair it, unfortunately. I still have the original one just in case this one goes. I'll have extra parts, but the matter is just trying to get the old microphone apart, the solder wires onto the back of it is what the issue was. So at least I'll have, like I said, a little bit of a backup. But I'm going to go ahead and open this one up because I'm using a boom microphone, and every time I talk I have to face into it. And it's kind of hindered my video production lately. But this is exactly the same one I was already using. So we'll go ahead and switch this one out right now. And that's a lot better. I picked this up for about $20, including the shipping, which was the price I got the original one for. So good deal. Here's the VidPro XM-L wired lavalier mic. That was a price of $19.99, including free shipping, and that came from Continental Photo. All right, moving on to the next one here. I have a feeling, again, I know what this one is. Oh, it fell right out the package. This, as you can probably tell, is some kind of a component. And of course, it comes in an anti-static bag. This is probably going to be the least exciting out of everything here, or one of the least exciting. This is a 2 GB RAM chip, and this is actually going to be used in that Acer netbook that we looked at a couple times in other videos. Currently only has 1 GB of RAM in it, and I'm using Ubuntu 16.04 LTS on this, and we're going to do some tests to see if indeed the 2 gigabytes does make a difference. So we'll just pop that off to the side. I got that for about $12, which included the shipping as well, which I thought was a pretty good price. And this is the 2 gigabyte chip. It's coming from the seller, all in the deal, and the price was $11.95, including free shipping. Next up we have is this one here, which is actually from Everything But Stromboli LLC, which I thought was funny. That is not the name of the eBay seller. It's just the name of their holding company, probably. This one here is a 32 gigabyte SD card. And what's actually cool about this is going to be used for the Raspberry Pi Zero project we were working on. Now this was sent to me by one of my viewers whose name is Ross, and he sent it with a 4 gigabyte chip. But we're going to use this 32 gig chip because, well, more is better. And I got this for $17.07. Here's the 32 gigabyte micro SD card at a price of $17.07 from Memory4U2. And that included free shipping as well. Now we got these two guys, and these are the last two I have in at the moment. I'll start with this one here, which is some double pull, double throw switches. And what's special about these switches, these are called on-off-on switches. So in the middle position, it's off. You can toggle it this way for on, or you can toggle it the other way for on. So you could use this, for example, to make a fan controller where you'd have a off in the middle, obviously, and then low speed one way and high speed the other. I can do this where I want to do 2 different color LEDs, like a white LED, or maybe like a cool white LED and a warm white LED, and you can select between the 2 colors and whatnot. Now normally I get single pole switches. You can see this is called double roll because there's 2 sets of contacts here. So you can actually break 2 different circuits if you want. Or if you're using this for AC voltage, you can use one to cut the line and the other one to cut the neutral. So there's a variety of different things you could do with these. But there is a whole big pack of them here. I believe there's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's 10 in there. And then it comes with the retaining nut and also a lock nut and the little well, there's actually 2 kind of retaining nuts. One of these has a little keying mark on it that would keep this thing from spinning, and well, most of the time you don't really use those, but either way it comes with all the hardware there. And here's the 10 pieces of the double pull, double throw, on, off, on 3-position mini toggle switches. That came from Green for E-Cells, and that was a price of $7.46, which included free shipping. Here's an example of how those switches work. This one here I actually have set up where the middle position again is off. Bottom is for battery, which just has an internal battery, and then if you switch it up the other way, it would take power in from the back here, which of course you don't see anything plugged into because it's not, but this is a little audio amplifier that I put together, and it was just easier to have a physical switch to do that instead of actually having a manual or electronic device inside here that would actually switch over between input or battery when you just switched it on. And the last one we have at the moment, let's take a good gander at this guy here. This bit may be another one of those not so interesting ones, but nevertheless we'll show it. These are 9-volt battery snaps, as you can kind of guess it. But I'm not necessarily using these for 9-volt batteries. You can also use this in a situation like here, where you have 8 1.5 volt batteries to give you 12 volt, and then you would just snap this in place and then get yourself a 12 volt battery pack essentially. And I actually bought this with another item, which unfortunately, as you can guess, isn't here at the moment, but it's a double C-cell battery holder, and it has that same snap, and that's going to be for that red LED lantern that we converted from white LEDs. And I was hoping to have that before my upcoming camping trip, but that doesn't seem like that's going to happen, although I do have the 9-volt snaps in, so we'll see what happens with the rest of that. And that's all I have for now. I'll see you guys in a couple days when everything comes back in. This is the 5-piece 9-volt battery snaps. This is from seller Electro Antics, and it was $1.99 with $2.95 standard shipping. Well, today's another day, which means I got another package. And this is DAA060 that will indicate the item that it is, of course, if you're looking for it on eBay. But this one here is going to be part of another project that I'll be able to do once I get more parts in. But this will give me time to experiment with it. And, well, you can see maybe right away, there's two little remotes for this. And they're both the same remote. And these are ready to go on a keychain. Then you have a little box. So obviously these are the transmitters. This must be the receiver. And let's see if I could open this up quickly here in camera. And what this here is, this is a 4-bank remote control system. So you can see each one of these is a relay. This takes 12 volts in from here. And then you can either use this as a normally open or normally closed circuit, obviously at 4 different channels. And then A through D over here indicates the 4 separate channels. And there's probably a little battery tab in here we'll have to take off so we can actually play with this. But I'm going to actually use this in my van to switch on some external and internal LED lighting. If you go back to the van review and the subsequent video that followed afterwards, I mentioned that there's a strip of LED light running along the inside of the van with this just regular on and off switch in the back. And I set it up that way because it was too much power to actually wire into the internal lighting. So, you know, when I open the door, that strip doesn't come on. There's actually just a small bulb inside, and then when I need brighter light, I have to turn the other one on manually. This will allow me to use a remote, so I can just push this button. Oh yeah, see the light lights up. And activate that remotely, so I can be in the front of the van, anywhere from the outside of it or whatever. And the idea is I'm actually going to buy some external LED lights, particularly floodlights or work lights they're known as, and I'm going to actually mount those to my roof rack facing the back, left, and right sides of the vehicle. And I might get one like a long bar that faces out the front like you see a lot of Jeeps and SUVs have. Not sure about that, but the other ones for sure. Specifically when I go to a work site, or more likely when I go camping, I can actually sit there and just hit a button and light up a side of my vehicle. I'm going to have to play around with this though to see what the actual power requirements are going to be and how much this will put out. I may need to wire this into a larger, more beefy kind of relay, so this would trigger the larger relay. And it's easy to do that. You're just using the output of this to trigger the coil of the larger one. And there's another piece to this that I've had for years already, and it's a large fuse block. So the idea is we're going to run a large cable from the battery back to the end of the vehicle, hook it to the switch box. We're going to take a long wire, run it from the battery all the way to the back of the vehicle to the fuse block, and then the fuse block is going to have setups where each one of these is going to be fused, and then this system here will also be fused. And that way, you know, I don't have to worry about too much power draw or anything like that. Now, there's a little jumper up here. There's a little button. We're going to have to play with this. I'll have a separate video on this one so we can see exactly how this thing works. All right, we'll see you guys when another package comes. And this is the 12-volt 4-channel wireless remote control system. I got it at a price of $12.19, and it came from seller Zaim458, and that included free shipping. All right, now it's time to look at the last 2 packages. This one came in while I was away on my camping trip, and I did already take a quick poke at it. Now, it's not a really interesting one, but it's part of another thing. It's that double C-cell battery holder with the 9-volt snap at the top I've been waiting for. Now, this is going to go with the lantern, which is right here. And this is the one I mentioned where we converted the white LEDs inside to red. So if we open this up, originally it took 3 batteries, and this is just 3 AA batteries. And we're going to remove those, and well, I'm not going to do it now, but these screws will come out and then this will fit inside of this. And the reason why they use 3 of these on the bottom is so it collapses, and we're going to make this so it doesn't collapse. Just a little preference that I have. And it'll also get a switch mounted in this too. And yeah, I don't need 4.5 volts to drive the red LEDs. I really only need 3. In fact, I actually need less than that. But we're going to use that instead, and this should fit nicely in there. And I do have one of these snaps to show. Now, this one I actually trimmed the leads on and popped the back of it off so I can see what it looks like. But you'll see this just snaps in like this at the top. Piece of cake. So that's pretty much all there is to that. Not a very interesting item, but nonetheless, I can show that there is some holes in this, so if you wanted to mount this into something, you could theoretically do that, but it's not going to get mounted. It's just going to get stuffed inside of it. Here's the double C-cell battery holder with the 9-volt snap terminal. I got that at a price of $3.99, which included free shipping. And that was from seller EIO Electronic Inventory Online. And the last one came in today, and obviously I know what it is because by process of elimination, I can tell you I know what I didn't get yet. But this one's actually, I think, the most exciting out of all of them. And you can tell right away it's a little electronics kit. And you know I like building these kits. This is actually a mini Tesla coil. And it's actually pretty exciting. Now this is based on the Slayer exciter circuit, and obviously when I do the build I'll go into more details on it, but there is a heatsink, cute little PCB. There's nothing to mount this onto, but I don't think that's necessary. And it's really a really simple design. And this is the primary coil, and then the secondary coil is going to be the tube that's right here. We'll take a look at that briefly. And there's really only a couple components, and again, I'll go into all that when I actually build it, but this is the guy that mounts on the heatsink. Now this is a BD243C. It also has B16 written here. I'll put what that is in the video here, because I don't remember off the top of my head. There's a little neon tube, and I think this isn't actually part of the circuit. I think this is to be excited by the tube. There's a couple LEDs. There's a couple resistors, and there's a monolithic capacitor, and a screw to mount that to. And that's it. Oh yeah, and a DC jack. So very, very simple build. It's going to take all of maybe 10 minutes to put that together. But let's just take a look at this primary, or I should say the secondary coil here. It seems like it's wrapped in paper pretty well. And there's a lot of Chinese on here. I'll have to maybe put this into the Google Translate program and see if it actually can do anything with it. It'd be interesting to see. Of course, the paper's so thin, trying to unwrap it here, it's kind of breaking apart, but oh, look at that. It's actually handwritten Chinese in there too. This may not have anything to do with the actual thing here, because there's a lot of formulas on it. Maybe just a piece of scratch paper, and it looks like it's not complete, so it might not be important. They might have just wrapped it in it. But that's it. That is the whole secondary coil. It's just a little plastic tube with some magnet wire wrapped around it, and then it's laminated in tape. I can't tell you how many turns this is. I really have no idea. But I know one of the things you have to do is actually get this enamel coating off of this. And we'll obviously we'll worry about when we build this, but this is going to get inserted into here, I believe, and then get mounted to the board like that with some hot melt glue. And this will operate off of a 9-volt battery, which is really cool. And I think the only thing I need to get is a sphere, something to stick on top of this to act as kind of like a reservoir, I guess you could say, to help build up some spark on this. But pretty interesting, pretty exciting little project. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to putting together. And with that, I really don't have anything else left to present. That's been the whole lot. I have all the pieces here. You know, this is just gonna get tossed in here with the rest of the stuff. This is all the bags that this all came in as part of the whole mailbag. I do have to say, after I placed this order, I placed an order for one more item, a really, really cheap item. I think I got 3 of the same item coming in. I'm not going to really talk more about it, but I have some LEDs that I got in another mailbag video, and this is basically something that's going to work with those LEDs. So stay tuned for that. It's probably going to be quite a while for it to come in yet, because it's coming from China, so it's going to take, you know, could take a month. But I'm not going to do a mailbag for that because it's just one item. So when we actually go to do that particular project, we'll take a look at that then. And here is the mini Tesla coil. It operates on 12-volt DC. Although I remember seeing something about 9-volt DC, which I mentioned earlier. I got this at a price of $7.79 plus $3.99 shipping from Bon eStore. All right, guys, I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next video.